What's going on, everybody? It's Dayton, and it's my favorite time of the year, CHL playoffs and Memorial Cup time. So what that means is we are doing a preview of every team in this CHL finals. I'm going to cover the Q, my buddy Wilbs is going to cover the OHL, and the boys over at Game Day Tarps are going to cover the WHL. So let's get right into it. First, let's take a look at how each team got to the finals. We have the Bécamo Drakkar. They had a 4-0 sweep over the Charlottetown Islanders, easy money. And then a 4-0 sweep over the Acadie Batters Titan. And then they faced the Cape Breton Eagles, who they easily got past in 5 games. And yeah, I know the Eagles kind of put up a little bit of a fight, but it was really just Nicholas Ruchia, Cam Squires, and Jacob Newcomb carrying them through that series. For the Drummondville Voltigeurs, it was a 4-0 win over the St. John Sea Dogs, and a 4-2 win over the Sherbrooke Phoenix, and a 4-1 win over the Victoriaville Tigre, who I thought would put up more of a fight. The best player for the Bécamo Drakkar in these playoffs has to be Justin Poirier. He leads the Q in points in these playoffs with 25, although he's been shut out these past 2 games. He's got 5 power play goals, and just remember, he's doing all of this at just 17 years old. And the player of the playoffs so far for the Drummondville Voltigeurs has to be number 67, the guy between the pipes, Riley Mercer. He's got a 1.18 GAA and a .938 save percentage so far, and 2 back-to-back shutouts in the Q Finals, a 5-0 win and a 1-0 win versus the Drakkar. Mercer has played every single game for the Voltigeurs so far in these playoffs. He's got 14 wins, and he's tied with Nicholas Ruchia for 2 shutouts. So, who do you think really is the top performer on each team? I don't know. Let me know in the comments. Let's move on to the Bécamo Drakkar and how I think they'll fare in the Memorial Cup if they make it there. I think the Bécamo Drakkar have to dig deep and find that team that they know they can play like, and everybody knows they can play like. They were obviously the most dominant team in the regular season in the QMJHL, and they led the league in points for a reason. So I don't know what happened when Game 1 of the finals came around, but it's a completely different Bécamo Drakkar team. They need Raoul Borrard, Justin Gill, and Justin Poirier to play amazing these last few games and hopefully get them back in this series if they think they have a chance to go to the Mem Cup. Now, let's move on to what I think the Drummondville Voltigeurs have to do to stay successful and to stay firing on all cylinders going into the Mem Cup. Obviously, the number 1 guy is the guy in net, number 67, Riley Mercer. He's been on fire these playoffs. I already showed you his stats. He's obviously got to just keep playing the way he has, and I think that'll be the biggest key to the Drummondville Voltigeurs' success. But also, you look at these guys that have been scoring, Luke Woodworth, Alexis Gendron, like everybody's scoring. I know they don't have Maverick Lamoureux, and that would definitely be a big help on the back end, the 6'7" defenseman, Arizona Coyotes draft pick. But hey, look at how they've done without him. They've got Vsevolod Komarov. He's done amazing on the back end, already won a Memorial Cup last year with the Rempart, so he's got the advantage in experience. I don't know who really comes out on top in this series, but if the Bécamo Drakkar want to have a chance, they need to get something going soon. That's my preview for the Memorial Cup and the QMJHL Finals. Now, let's throw it over to Wilbs and Game Day Tarps.
What's up, guys? Dal here from Game Day Tarps podcast, and today we are going to be making a video of the championship series happening right now in the Canadian Hockey League, with the Western Hockey League, the OHL, and the QMJHL Championship Series playoffs. So before we get into today's video, I just want to give a huge shout out to Dayton Camo of Blue Nose Hockey and Wilbs Puck, who we will be collaborating on this video. So we're super stoked and can't wait to get into this video. Make sure to give those gents a follow. They definitely keep you up to date on everything happening in the OHL and in the QMJHL respectively, with breaking news, trades, and scores. So let's get into today's video, guys. Now, moving on to the WHL, I'm not too upset with the PG Cougars, who are definitely my pick out of the WHL this postseason, but they were definitely no match for the surging Portland Winterhawks in the West Finals, who have probably surprised a lot of people this season. The infamous 5 rivalry spotlight sees the other side of the coin, so to speak, in Portland this time around, rather than the Seattle Thunderbirds, who until recently were the focus point of domination of the West in the last number of years, seeing 2 Ed Chynoweth titles in 2017 and in 2023, and a finals appearance in 2022, but folding to the might of the overly stacked Edmonton Oil Kings in the 2022 WHL Finals. This season alone, the Seattle Thunderbirds ended up finishing 9th in the West this year, missing the playoffs entirely, as they are in the midst of a current rebuild for the franchise. A once dominant Seattle team is now being overshadowed by the surging up-and-coming Portland Winterhawks team, who is showing they are proving to be the best in the West this season. And they are going up against the Eastern Conference champions, Moose Jaw Warriors, who personally are my pick to be the representative out of the WHL this season. The Warriors are looking for their first ever Ed Chynoweth Cup in franchise history and their first ever WHL Finals appearance in nearly 18 years. For the Portland Winterhawks, they will be looking for their first Ed Chynoweth Cup since the 2013 season, when they ultimately were dominated in the 2013 Memorial Cup Finals by none other than Nathan MacKinnon and the Halifax Mooseheads in Saskatoon, Saskatchewan, just coming up shy for the ultimate goal. The 2024 season saw the likes of the Moose Jaw Warriors and the Portland Winterhawks land 2 of the biggest players available at the 2024 Western Hockey League trade deadline, and Nathan Danielson coming over from the Brandon Wheat Kings to the Portland Winterhawks, joining the likes of Marcus Nguyen, Glabe Klassen, and Luca Signoni. Matthew Savoy, on the other hand, bolstering a star-studded hanger, joining the likes of CHL playoff leading scorers and blue liner Dayton Matejchuk and forward Jager Furcus, both with 28 points respectively each, and joining the likes of great talent in Braden Jaeger and goaltender Jackson Unger. Both Danielson and Savoy have since proven to be exactly what the two teams needed to propel them to the WHL Finals, both having 21 playoff points each so far, as they now have come face to face to prove who is the best in the West and who is moving on to Saginaw, Michigan in June. For a bit of a recap, the Moose Jaw Warriors forced a Game 7 against the Saskatoon Blades, who were having undoubtedly nothing short of an amazing run themselves, but saw the Warriors win in Game 7 of the Eastern Conference Finals. Throughout the playoffs, the Portland Winterhawks were making quick work of the Victoria Royals and the Everett Silvertips to meet up with the Prince George Cougars in the Western Conference Finals. Ultimately, the Cougars weren't enough to stop Portland's offensive prowl, getting the likes of Cohen Zemer back, joining the lineup with Riley Height, Tarek Parasak. I really did think that the PG Cougars would have had it in the bag. Moose Jaw, Portland. This series is going to be wild, and I do think it's going to go to 6 games.
Hello everyone, what's up guys? Welcome back to another TikTok video. Today we're going to be reviewing the CHL Finals, all 3. I'm going to be collabing with Dayton Como and Game Day Tarps. Thanks so much for this. Really appreciate the shout, and let's get right into it. But the London Knights have had a dominant season so far, and they couldn't write a better storyline than this. I mean, going back to the OHL Finals after losing last year, pretty big feat. They swept Flint, and they also swept Kitchener, which Kitchener was a huge contender all year long, and London just absolutely beat them with ease. And then against Saginaw, they won 4-2. So let's talk about the MVP for the London Knights for this whole playoff so far. I think my MVP is no question Easton Cowan. He's been averaging a point per game. He's been a very helping hand with this group, and the 2 goals really helped for Game 6. And if he continues this, I think that is very, very highly possible that he gets that OHL Playoff MVP award. Now let's talk about how Oshawa got here. Now Oshawa, they have done an incredible job, and, obviously they started off slow, but then picked it up, and then they have done incredibly well in the playoffs. So first round they faced Barrie, which Oshawa won that 4-2, and then They had a 4-0 series win against Ottawa 67's powerhouse. And then this series against North Bay, 1-7 games. So the playoff MVP, I think, so far for Oshawa is Callum Ritchie. What a bounce back from coming back from injury and absolutely tearing it up. 25 points in this OHL playoffs is just, there's nothing better than that. So with that being said, it's prediction time. Now, what are my thoughts? Who I think is going to win this series? I think London's going to prevail again. I think, honestly, they have been playing so well lately, and they beat a tough Saginaw team, and I don't think Oshawa is more tough than Saginaw. Saying Saginaw is a whole lot tougher is because they had Jorian Donovan, Owen Beck, Alex Christopoulos, who all have OHL final experience, man. And guess what happens? London still prevails and dominates. Now, the last segment of this preview is, how will the OHL team do in the Memorial Cup? I think London can make a run for it. I think they can. I mean, Michael Simpson has the experience. London has been breaking franchise records all year long. You haven't heard stuff like this since 2016 London or 2005 London. They broke a 2005 London Knights franchise record in the playoffs. You can't tell me that's something to sleep on. So, I think London has a pretty good chance to go all the way if they win this. And I think their toughest opponent will definitely be Bay Como, because I think they're going to win the QMJHL championship. That's my pick for that. And I think they could beat the WHL team for sure. But QMJHL is going to be their toughest challenge. But I think London will do very well. So that's my preview for the OHL championship.